Good evening and welcome back to our NACTV Rotary Auction Report. My name is Lyle Watson and we're pleased to have a new guest with us, another Rotarian guest with us this evening, and we're going to be talking about some of the benefits of being in Rotary, some of the benefits to the community, and how we benefit personally by being a member of the Rotary Club of Neepawa, and how it connects us with a lot of people. Before we get to there, I just want to remind you that the auction sale will actually, I think most people have registered by now, but it does run through until Wednesday the 9th of December, and the closing dates is the 10th and the 11th. So have a look and make sure that you get your bid in. We've got a good variety of merchandise this year, as usual. And we would like to take this opportunity to again thank the donors for such a valuable display of merchandise offered for our fundraising sale this year. The other thing is not only the merchandise that's been offered, but also the gift certificates. And for Christmas presents, we talk about shopping locally. This is a fine example of how we can shop locally, support Rotary, support our community, and all work together for the benefit of all. Thank you for that, and I would like to take this opportunity to introduce our guest, Berg Wopnford. And Berg, thank you for taking the time to join us today.
My pleasure.
And just kind of looking back, I know you've been a long-time Rotarian. How many years have you been part of the Rotary Club of Neepawa?
Well, I hate to say it, but I think it's about 25 years.
25 years.
It doesn't seem that long, but it sounds like it just seems like I just joined.
Did you join shortly after you moved to Neepawa, or?
No, I joined when I retired from work here.
Oh, okay.
And from then on, I went into, I wasn't sure if I was going to join anything, but my neighbor talked me into it. He says, you got to come, it'll be the perfect thing for you. So I had been to meetings where I worked on and on and on and on, and a lot of them were a waste of time. And I was pretty well fed up with meetings, and I said, I'm not going to another meeting after I retire, and that's it. So he says, well, try it out. He says, come on out. And he says, give it a shot. So I did. And actually, I quite liked it. It was a little different. It wasn't like your normal meetings. There was a little social end to it. And you got to meet a lot of people, you know, that you normally would not associate with. And I have to say that over the years, they've all been very good. So that's my experience there.
That's how you got into Rotary?
That's how I got into it.
Berg, can I ask you who your neighbor was at that time?
That was Herb Osmond.
You know, I'm going to express our appreciation to Herb Osmond. You are the third Rotary member since we started these programs that has suggested that it was Herb Osmond that invited him out to the first meeting. So Herb, if you're watching, thank you. Anyways, you have been part of Rotary. You've been part of every work crew or anything that's been done by Rotary. You're always a willing helper. And some of the projects that you helped in over the years, do any of them stand out in your mind, Berg, or did you enjoy them all?
I enjoyed them all, but the ones where we had, well, of course, the Rotary auction every year was a real. It got everybody together socially and working together, and you learned a lot about the people that you sat next to at the meeting, and there was generally good stuff, and everybody got along, and it was really well run in every case, and I really enjoyed that. Other than that, the projects, well, we've had so many that, you know, like Rotary Park, of course, we've done all kinds of buildings over there.
Yes.
The bird sanctuary, we've contributed to that, and of course, there's a number, over the years, like there's 3 or 4 projects every year, so it's hard to pick out 1 or 2 that stand out, like they're all very good.
But the good thing, a lot of the projects, most of the projects, but speaking of Rotary Park, they will be there for generations to come.
That's right. And that's why we made sure, if you notice that the buildings that we put up there, they're made to stay there for years to come.
Yes.
And nobody's gonna burn them down
No.
or push them down or anything. They're there for a long, long time.
Yes.
So,
If I was to ask you if there's one thing about being a Rotarian and working with the community in cooperation with all the members, is there some aspect of the Rotary organization that stands out in your mind, Berg?
well, first there's the local part of it, which is a big part of it. And there's also the world part of it, which, you know, if you want to give something to people that have nothing, you know, you don't realize how many people are in the world that are not in the same position as we are in.
Yes.
And to do something for them is really great. And that polio plus, trying to get rid of polio completely is number 1 in my thinking, because I grew up when polio was a virus.
Yes.
It still is a virus, but it was a virus that was out of control.
Yes.
The same as the one we have now, probably maybe a little worse. And a lot of younger people were not surviving. So if you can get rid of that, then you know, that's a big, big plus.
And it's very near.
Very close.
Very close.
There are 2 countries left in the whole world, and they don't have many, they got a few.
Yes.
And the reason for that is that the access to them is not as it should be, because of their the way they're run, the governments or whatever, that will not allow people in there to vaccinate the kids in there, the children as they get older.
Yes, it's just amazing. It took time, but it certainly has been a very worthwhile project, and the accomplishments are easy to measure at this point, like you say, down to 2 countries in the world. That's well worth working towards, isn't it, Berg? Yes. In terms of being a Rotary member, we've talked about some of the benefits that you've had, the benefits to the community. Is there a message that you could share with us or share with our viewers, if in fact there's someone in the community that may be just thinking, someday I'd like to join an organization? Could you put a value on that and maybe expand a little bit on the benefits of that?
Well, I would say, like I touched on that at the start there, that that I had no intention of going to any group at all after I retired, and because of the meetings, and Rotary does have meetings. At the start, when I joined, we had meetings once a week, at noon, and we're now down to 2 a week, once every 2 weeks. But I figured, well, I'll give it a try. And because of that, I found out that it wasn't like you're not sitting there, you know, not for doing any good at all. And it's not a waste of time, for sure. So that's, I guess, more or less sums it up. I can sum it up the way I looked at it then and the way I look at it now. Yeah. And it has changed that much.
On that note, and a lot of people in today's society, in Canada at least, are retiring some at 55 and some at 60, but still relatively young and have need to be part of and have a purpose for life. In terms of your experience, and you had mentioned that you joined Rotary upon retiring from your job, and from that point, have you found it's been a benefit to your mental, spiritual, and physical health to belong to work within the community? Have you found a benefit within your own health system from it?
I think so. If you look at not only the meetings that you go to, that's only one, the social part of that, but the projects themselves that we do, they're all intended to help other people in town. And you know, whatever you do, you have to realize that, you know, at some point you got to give something other than keep taking, you know. Like, nobody's going to keep giving you all the time, so you have to,
Yes.
you have to break down and say, okay, I'm going to do something. I never had an opportunity to do that before because I was on the road like 3 days a week.
Oh, yes.
And I'd get back at night and I'd be worn out, and then you know, the weekends went by and there was no chance to do that kind of thing. You couldn't attend meetings anyway, in the Rotary meetings or
Yeah.
anything like that. So I didn't join until after I retired. But after that, I found out that it was a real benefit. Like it kind of keeps you in. It's difficult to explain, but it kind of keeps you in a mode where you're working at things and you know that you're accomplishing something,
Yes.
helping somebody.
And that's so good, both mentally and physically.
That's right.
And I would suggest to you, Berg, you're a fine example for a person that, as we grow older, some of us lose some physical ability and mental capacity and forget things, and, at least I do. But you are an example of being physically fit and still being able to go out and participate in the work parties, and as cleaning up the highway the other night on that work project, or a month ago. I saw you out there working, and that's something to be said for that. And,
Yeah, you have to do what you can. That's really what it amounts to, and you know, not everybody can do everything. So
yes.
you know, there are different projects and different abilities and different things that you can do. Even if you have difficulty with a lot of things,
Yes.
you can still take part and you can still do a lot of the things.
Yeah.
And do your share.
That's a good point, Berg. So, you know, I suggest to our viewers, if you're thinking about joining Rotary or any organization, you can do your best at what level you're able to do it. And you've been a fine example of that for sure, and as all our Rotary members and community members are. So I would like to thank you for your contributions to our community, to our club, Berg. Is there any final thoughts you would like to leave with our viewers today?
The only thing that I would, I guess, like to promote Rotary is to get more members involved. And I think in that we have to get the message out that there are benefits both to the members and to the community and to the whole world. So if you can do that, and more people come out and they do their part, then it's they can do more and more and more. So if you do it that way, and it's gonna increase the benefits to everybody.
Well, that is a very good thought. Thank you for sharing that with us, Berg. And thank you for taking the time to join us today. And I know that you'll be around working at the auction throughout the week, I'm sure, and we look forward to working with you at that time.
Okay.
Thank
you for asking me.
That concludes this portion of this program, and stay tuned. We'll be back shortly.
Hi, I'm Andrew, and I'm a member of Rotary, and we're here to figure out if people actually know what Rotary is. Tell me, what is Rotary?
A rotary phone?
No. Chicken.
It's not a rotary phone or a rotisserie chicken.
Tell me, what is Rotary?
Is it when you get a document stamp?
You've been rotarized.
Let me ask you this. What do you think of when you hear Rotary?
Well, I'll tell you what I think. You go and you all over, and then your toilet gets clogged, so then you have to call the rooter guy.
Do you know what Rotary is?
Is it like a club?
Yes, it's like a club. Do you know what kind of club?
I picture a bunch of old stuffy men sitting around smoking cigars, drinking scotch.
They're ready for you.
Now let's ask some actual Rotarians what Rotary truly is.
When I first moved to the area, I didn't know a lot of people, and I didn't have many friends. But then, when I joined Rotary, I gained friends, a community, and even a family.
To me, Rotary is about being part of our community. Rotary has contributed over $500,000 to places like our local zoo.
It's things like this playground. There was nothing here before. And now it's something everyone can enjoy.
My favorite part of Rotary is learning something new every week, straight from the top leaders in our community. I go to Rotary feeling stressed out from work and leave feeling energized and empowered.
Rotary is about impact on a local, national, and global scale. Like this ballpark for children with special needs.
And helping new Americans learn English in this classroom. Oh yeah, and did I mention that Rotary is working around the world on thousands of projects, such as eradicating polio and providing clean drinking water for millions of people. Rotary is where friends, neighbors, and problem solvers share ideas, join leaders, and take action to create lasting change.
Go Rotary!
To find out more, visit fmrotaryclubs.org.
Good evening and welcome back to our NAC TV Rotary Auction Report. My name is Lyle Watson and thank you for tuning in. And we're still discussing our Neepawa Rotary Club auction sale, the fundraising part, the major fundraiser of our year here, and we're looking at all the changes of 2020. As you know by now, it's online from December 3rd till the 10th, and you have an opportunity to bid. So I hope that everybody's registered in and has had a chance to view some of these articles that we have for sale. Not only the merchandise, but also the great gift certificates. And I'm going to mention again, it's a great opportunity to shop locally, and it's a great opportunity to buy some local Christmas presents and pick them up on December the 11th at the curbside here at Arts Forward, and you've got some of your Christmas shopping already done. With that note, I would like to introduce our next guest. I'd like to introduce fellow Rotarian Bob Durston. He is the District Rotarian and District Chairperson, and he's had a multitude of years in experience with Rotary, and I'm just thankful to have him as a guest today, and thank you for taking the time, Bob, and joining us here at NAC TV
Wow.
Rotary Auction Report.
Well, thank you. Rotary is when everyone says Rotary, you just say yes.
Well, you've had quite a lengthy Rotarian career, and you've had quite a collection of experiences and events that you've participated in over the years. Is it fair to ask you, Bob, how many years have you been a Rotarian?
I'll be starting my 45th year in February.
45 years. Does that make you the longest current serving member?
No, Ivan Trail is our longest current serving member.
And you're second?
And I'm second right now, and Dave Bennett, I believe, is in the third. It's a race you can't win.
It's a race, no, you can't win the race. But I just have to commend you on your dedication and commitment, not only to Rotary, but we're talking about Rotary and community, and your dedication to the Neepawa area community in the province of Manitoba, the district, international. Your commitment has been second to none, Bob, and certainly doesn't go unrecognized. So thank you for your commitment to Rotary and all the work you've done within our community. Some of the things that you've done and accomplished, we can't touch on them all, but district participation has been a big part of your Rotary career.
Yeah, actually it started, well, in '76 when we just moved to town, and Homer Gill was actually a real estate agent, and he said, Bob, would you be interested in joining Rotary? And I said, yes, I would, and so he invited me out to the meeting, and it went from there. And that's what I find in Rotary. It's people asking because they believe in you. I came into the club, I was president in '85, '86, and again in '95, '96, and then the club asked me to take a various number of directors. In fact, when you were president-elect back then, you were the responsible for running the auction. That was part of the president-elect's role. There was no question. That's what you did, and so it got you really more involved in the community. But then I was asked by the club to be secretary, and I'm carrying that on for I don't know how many years now. But then our children were all involved in the long-term youth exchange. The short-term youth exchange chairman was being transferred out to BC. So they came along and said, Bob, we know you've been involved with the long-term exchange and you know all there is to know. And I said, no, I don't. But they said, would you take on the chair of the short-term youth exchange and run our district short-term youth exchange program? And I foolishly probably said yes. And that ended up with 11 years of doing that. And the beauty of that was the participation by the clubs and by the families, and seeing the results of the young people going international only for 4 weeks and then coming home. You know, in 4 weeks they were changed, so, and always for the better.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I probably was running at that time 40 students out and 40 students in, so really coordinating 40 families every year for that exchange. And then it became 11 years and it wasn't as much fun anymore. So I said, I want to give this up. And so then they said, okay, would you take on assistant district governor position for Brandon and Minnedosa Neepawa? And I said, what do I have to do? And they said, well, not that much, just help the district governor. So I started into that and because I was asked. And then Eva Valida was the district foundation chair at the time, after 7 years of that, and she was the district foundation chair. She got asked to move up to the next level beyond district into our zone, which is all of Canada, as a regional foundation coordinator. And so she said, Bob, I know you got some passion for a foundation and what we do, would you consider? And it didn't take me long to say yes. And so 7 years later, I've now been appointed for my third 3-year term, and the opportunity to work with other clubs, look at all the projects that our funding is doing in our communities, internationally, and so it's just been a wonderful experience. And you know, someday I'm going to say I'm getting too old for this, but what it does is branches you into so many other things, so many other opportunities that you really haven't seen, and I think our club really has blossomed because I could bring the information back. But not only that, you know, Rotarian Dave Bennett was asked to take on the District Friendship Exchange Program, and he's been running a wonderful program until he got caught this year with COVID-19 like everybody else, and you know, that program is not moving forward.
Yeah.
Ron Nordstrom, with his computer experience and interest in public relations, he's now on the district committee for public image, and they just finished a seminar this past weekend for all Rotarians in our district on how to promote Rotary, how to promote your club, how to promote your community public relations wise. So the opportunities that I've had in Rotary because somebody asked me, and I think that's the big thing in any organization is somebody asks you to do something, which says to the person, somebody believes in me that I can do that job. So with their belief in me, then I'll do my best to do the job.
That's an interesting point you make, is that if you become a Rotarian, you can work at any level you desire.
That's right.
You had interest and a desire to move up, but you had the opportunity to work within the community, within the Rotary Club of Neepawa, the district, and internationally. You've done some work too, Bob. There must be some benefits, and I know I can almost sense the benefits that you have got out of this in terms of education and learning for yourself.
Well, the benefits, the personal benefits are personal satisfaction of seeing activities done. Our club backed me on an international project in Mexico in the city that Chris, our son, was involved, was there on youth exchange, and they asked for help with their senior home to do some improvements there, and our club backed me on that, and we raised money and got international money to do that project in Mexico, and you know, and then you go, we had the opportunity to go and see the people, actually see what happened, and it gives you a really warm, fuzzy feeling when you can actually go, and every Rotarian that's ever been on any international project, they say that that's why I want to be in Rotary. I can then go and see where my money went, where our money went, and come back and say, this is what we did as a group in benefiting these children. And we're spending a lot of money and time in Guatemala in one district trying to save, not save, but yeah, I think really it is save the children by providing schools, washrooms, computers, educational facilities that they wouldn't have otherwise. We're providing scholarships to teachers to go be able to learn and get the education levels required for teaching. Rotary's built up such a relationship there. We've now got the local government is totally on site. In fact, when we leave, they are funding the school, they're funding the teachers, they're doing other things. The new schools that are being built by the people there, there's the major concrete business in the area is providing all the concrete free and to help build schools, to help people to improve themselves.
It's a good example of what we can do working together, Bob.
Yeah.
In our time remaining, I'd like to expand on your district participation, and could you give our viewers a indication as to the area and briefly how many clubs and the opportunities of interacting between the clubs within our district and the benefits of that connection?
Right now we have 46 clubs and 3 Rotaract clubs, which are the younger group of Rotarian professionals that are now moving into Rotary. But with the 46 clubs, we're spread from Sioux Lookout, Dryden, Kenora, all of Manitoba, and the eastern half of Saskatchewan. So you draw a line basically from Estevan, Weyburn up through Regina, Moose Jaw, Saskatoon, Prince Albert. And so we are one of the largest geographic districts in the whole Rotary world. And so that's the area. But in the city, the clubs have more opportunities to work together. The prime example I look at is the Winnipeg clubs. They put on a tremendous career symposium for all of the students. The clubs there put on our Body of the United Nations assembly for students all across Western Canada and Northern States. The Winnipeg clubs have started the Rib Fest as a fundraiser, but it's all the clubs that are involved. So we here have less of an opportunity. We have had some here. We actually have the opportunity to work with the Lions and the Kinsmen in terms of some of the things we've done, because we're all here to serve our communities and our country and the world, and the more we can do to bring understanding and meeting other people, then you say, we're all the same. Yes. We're really the same. So why do we have this fighting going on between our countries? And so that's the beauty. And Berg talked previously about the Polio Plus. That's been a major project that's really bringing the countries together and the people together and providing opportunities in the health field.
The opportunities are endless. Again, it depends on what level a person desires to participate, but that connecting with people, whether it's within the club, within the district, or internationally, is just second to none. And you made a good point, Bob. We as people are all the same, and why do we have all this conflict? And Rotary and the opportunities within Rotary are getting bigger and better as we see more need for that understanding. Bob, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for sure, and I know we've got lots more we could talk about, but if I was to ask if you had a final thought that you would like to share with our viewers today, what would you like to say?
I think what I'd like to say is that service clubs and Rotary in particular, because we're so many clubs and international, that the opportunity to serve, and I think a lot of people are looking for that opportunity and coming in and serving. Sometimes you got to shake up the old boys in the club with the younger ones, but you know, many of us old boys now are saying, if you young people want to do a project, we're going to back you, and that's the important thing. And I think having young people come in and be the next generation and have us work where we can and benefit our community, and then once we've done a lot of things in our own community, is what do we want to do outside, and everybody has a different objective, I guess, or where they would like to go and do good.
Well, thank you for sharing that thought with us, Bob, and it is an excellent thought. And thank you for your commitment to Rotary and to our community, because you have certainly, you and Carolyn and your family have certainly given back. So we appreciate your efforts very much, and thank you for joining us today, and you have a good day.
You too, thank you.
Thanks. Well, that concludes this portion of the Rotary Auction Report, and just keep tuned. We're going to be on nightly through till the auction begins. In fact, we'll be on till the auction concludes and the highest bidders are announced. So remember to log into our site, get registered, and we appreciate your participation in our 2020 edition online of our Rotary auction. Thanks for watching. My name's Lyle Watson. We'll see you next time.
We are this close.
We are this close.
Tutelek modest.
We are this close. This close to making history.
This close.
We're this close. This close. We are this close.
We are this close.
This close.
This close to changing the world.
We are this close to making sure no child suffers a crippling disease ever again.
We are this close to making history.
We are this close to ending polio. We're this close to ending polio. We're this close.
This close.
This close to ending polio.
This close.
We are this close to ending polio. All we need is you.
All we need is you.
All we need is you. Is you.
All we need is you.
This close.
If we don't act now, we may lose this chance forever. Help Rotary make history at endpolio.org.